melanin synthesis. First we have the sun. Here we have the pineal eye, which is actually shaped like a triangle, okay, in the center of the brain. So the sunlight, the rays of the sunlight hits that pineal eye, and that eye perceives that, oh, now I'm getting this sunlight, so it's being stimulated. So the melanin is the protector. Now, what is it? Basically, melanin is a natural sunscreen. Our eyes are dark, our eyes are brown, so that melanin is a natural filter. That's why they put it in sunglasses. Too much of the sunlight can destroy their eye tissue. Okay, so we've got the melanin, which is the natural sunscreen. It is a chemical substance. And basically it's pigment. It's the black and brown pigment that gives color to our skin, our eyes, and our hair. That's what melanin is. On a biological basis, it's a chemical substance, the black and brown pigment that gives color to our skin, our eyes, and our hair. Okay? Now, what is its function? What is the major function of melanin? Melanin functions, as I stated, and I'll be very succinct now, it protects human beings from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. I guess it's because since African people came from a warm environment, obviously that melanin was needed to protect us against constantly being bombarded by the rays of the sun. So the Creator put that melanin. That's why I say to us, it's a natural sunscreen. What is it being used for commercially? And I mentioned earlier, it's being used in sunglasses. It's also being, in general, it's a filter. It filters out the rays of the sun. So they're using it now in computer screens. You know, for some of us that use computers, that sit at computers all day, you're not supposed to sit at a computer for a long period of time. So now they're making computer screens that are black with melanin in them to protect us from those, what do you call it, free radicals. Melanin protects us from radiation, okay, from those free radicals that come from the computer. So they're making computer screens made out of melanin, okay? Then they're making contact lenses out of melanin, all right? They're making plastic glass lenses out of melanin. And what it does, like I said, it filters out the color that does damage to the eye and to the human tissue. Because without that melanin, you get that damage to the eye tissue. Go at least 30 minutes out there in the sun to get that nourishment from the sun. See? And the sunlight also helps our body to produce the glucose, which is needed for the functioning of the brain, and norepinephrine, which is a neurotransmitter. The sunlight, we need the sunlight. See, we have to be careful about what Europeans say when they talk about the sun. They're not talking to us. They call melanin Kim. Kim meant black. If you were successful in the ancient Egyptian civilization, you were considered black. If you finished what you started, you were considered Kim. So in their language, or should I say in our language, black meant something good. Yeah. Of course, now here in this part of the world, and probably worldwide, anything bad is black. The black mood, the black Monday. Melanin is made up of 4 ingredients. The first is carbon. This is what gives it its blackness. Okay. The next ingredient is hydrogen, which is water. And of course, we know that water is a cleanser. Okay? So the next ingredient is oxygen. Oxygen is also a cleanser, so that's necessary for life. So basically, you have the first 3 elements are the basic fundamental elements that are in all living things. And then the 4th ingredient is nitrogen. And this is This is where we get the natural tranquilizing properties, and I don't think I wrote that up there about the melatonin. It's a natural tranquilizer. It relaxes us. This is why they say that we should be in bed by 12 midnight, because you get most of your melatonin at that time. And then after 12 midnight, then it starts going down. Now, when you're in bed sleep, it's very important that you don't have any light in your environment, because once there's darkness, as soon as your eyes perceive light, that melatonin starts to decrease. So for those brothers and sisters that sleep with the TV on, they're wreaking havoc on their system. Okay? Or for their children to sleep with the TV on, and I've seen people sleep with the TV on all night long, they're wreaking havoc on their system. And scientists have found now that once you start having a decrease in melatonin, you suffer from depression. If you produce too little melatonin at night, or too much melatonin during the wrong period of time during daylight hours, you're going to start suffering from depression and mental problems. You're going to have problems with your judgment. This is why, like I said, with brothers and sisters that work that midnight shift, they have to be very careful to get those green raw vegetables, because those green raw vegetables feed the inner eye. They give it that chlorophyll. That's the plant melanin. Here is serotonin during the daylight hours. Here's melatonin. No, wait a minute. Here's melatonin. Okay? Then melatonin is low during the daylight hours. Okay? Now, if you're going to sleep during the daylight hours, you're producing melatonin at the wrong period of time. So there's the imbalance. See? So here we got serotonin high, melatonin low. So melatonin is high here at night, and then serotonin is low. Okay? That's how it looks. And in mathematics, we call this the sine graph. For those of you that may have had trigonometry, sine, cosine, tangent, the pineal eye does its work through its hormones of serotonin and melatonin. Melatonin puts melanin in the bloodstream at night. Melatonin is what synthesizes and makes the melanin. Melatonin brings together all the ingredients that are needed to make that melanin, and it puts it out at night. That blackness is produced in blackness.